Boruto has finally unlocked the signature power of his grandfather, but what about the Dojutsu which has kept us awaited for more than 7 years? How will the Jougan enter the story after the recent development? And what if I told you the new villains destroying Konoha have already been teased in the anime? So how will all of these ongoing advancements lead us to the timeskip scene of episode 1? Let's find out. The chapter was titled Awakening and had Kawaki on the cover. Last time I was expecting either a flashback arc or a mini fight between Boruto and Kawaki to happen. It could have then went on with Gold fusing with Ten Tails, but something really bizarre has happened. I even think there is a long way to go for the prologue scene to take place in the story based on how these new villains were introduced and Kawaki's ideology that we got to see in this chapter. Even the Jougan whose awakening kept most of the fandom anticipated due to the obvious hints from this panel didn't appear in this chapter, and I think the conversation between Koji and Boruto has revealed why. I will discuss them in detail once we reach there, but let's first start off from the beginning of this chapter. As Code returns to the Ten Tails base, he gets reminded of Boruto's warning about the worst possible future which might occur due to the modification that he has done to the Ten Tails. Code wonders how would this creature who only wants to eat could become a threat. It seems like he doesn't have any intensive knowledge of the Ten Tails just like Boruto, otherwise he would be knowing the consequences of his actions. While Boruto's knowledge of the worst possible future is also a huge mystery, and even if it's Koji who warned him about them, this means they somehow have access to the knowledge of the unseen, or it could be even a prediction based on the vital hints which came true. Anyway, coming back to the chapter, the toad on Boruto's neck tells him to hurry as it's an emergency. Boruto then prepares the flying thunder god technique and even tells the toad that he's not as skillful as his grandfather. He then teleports to the Ten Tails dimension in the blink of an eye, breaking space-time, which means the pin that's being held by the toad had a special marking on it. This feat that Boruto has achieved by learning a technique which is only mastered by 2 characters of the franchise has led to a lot of mysteries. The biggest one being how exactly did he learn this power? It could be that Koji gave him the necessary scrolls to learn it, but there are some other possibilities which are way more interesting. Firstly, Boruto said he isn't skillful at it like his grandfather, which means he somehow knew the capabilities and feats attained by Minato, and the one to make him aware of this stuff was none other than Kashin Koji, due to the huge connection that he shares with the sensei of Minato. As said by Ishiki, the fate of a person is predestined by their genes, so Kashin Koji training the grandson of Jiraiya's pupil makes a lot of sense. It could even mean that he has the knowledge of his previous life. That's how he was able to assist Boruto in learning the flying RAIJIN. Also, the way Boruto teleported to Code's place has confirmed the flying thunder god to be a space-time ninjutsu. Now this brings us to the next possibility of how Boruto might have learned this technique, which is even more mind-blowing, so brace yourselves. I hope you guys remember this panel, which is theorized to be the proof of Boruto traveling back in time. It's very much possible that time travel will become a solid plot point, explaining how Boruto learned the flying thunder god technique. As we know, it's a space-time ninjutsu, and Boruto as an Otsutsuki must have a way larger chakra pool, so using this technique to travel back and forth in time is not out of question. This means he could have done unlimited amount of training in the 2-year period as he went back to the past to train with Minato. Maybe that's why Code wasn't able to trace him and was forced to invade Konoha. A really big foreshadowing for time travel can also be found in a cutscene from Naruto x Boruto UNS Connections, where we get to see Toneri Otsutsuki explaining how Boruto can go back to the past and change it. Well, if it's not a foreshadowing, then I don't know what is. We also get to see the pattern of Sarada's Mangekyo on this Otsutsuki door kind of thing. This might be teasing the powers and abilities of Sarada's special eye being related to the Otsutsukis. And if you guys hit the sub button, I will expand on these topics in the future. Coming back to the manga, the Ten Tails mysteriously disappears, leaving everyone confused. The toad says that it can't be Code who teleported the Ten Tails, as he didn't act suspiciously. Code on the other hand gets suspicious of the toad, followed by a mysterious creature staring at them from behind. Upon seeing this new creature, Boruto regrets being late, and Code mistakes him as Bug due to a slight similarity in their appearance. Boruto corrects him by saying it's not Bug who has been turned into a tree, rather it's a new species known as Shinju. Okay, so what I noticed here is that the Shinju creature summoned from the same platform that was shown to depict the Otsutsukis as holograms. Moreover, there were a total of 4 Otsutsukis whose holograms appeared when their tablets were pushed. The new villains were also same in number, which can't be a coincidence at all. Not only that, I think the Kara members who were shown in the anime opening was actually a clever foreshadowing of these Shinjus. We have got a female member, a fat member, a hooded guy, along with a person who resembles Jougan a lot. Looking at the other events of this opening, maybe they will be responsible for destroying the village. And what's even interesting is that we got to see a sequence of Boruto fighting Koji in this opening, which could also be a foreshadowing of their team up and training. Moving back to the manga, the mysterious creature starts attacking Boruto and pushes him to the wall. Boruto uses the lightning release to create some distance, but the enemy returns with a lethal strike to finish him. He quickly uses the flying thunder god to save himself, and the Shinju calls it a sneaky jutsu. This reminded me of how Momoshiki, who was irritated by Sasuke's Rinnegan, took his revenge by stabbing his eye. While I don't think the Shinju is gonna do something similar, but we might soon get to see a serious fight between Boruto and these creatures. We then get to see Boruto deactivating Code's Uzuhiko out of goodwill, but spoilers ahead, he regrets that later. As they both stand to face off this new villain, Boruto reveals that all the victims of the claw grinds are destined to become a Shinju. This statement easily explains how these beings came into existence. When a claw grind devours a human being, they become a chakra tree and the chakra is transferred to the main 10 tails. However, this modification that Code did to them led to the awakening of their own consciousness and ego. They have also taken the avatars of the people who have transformed into trees, and I will get there in a moment. We then get to see another Shinju in the sky who talks about the original will of the 10 tails, which was to create a divine fruit from the chakra of everyone who lived and died on the planet. However, they have now got corrupted after being awakened by Code, which led to them having ego. Well, here he is referring to the claw mark modification, which was also pointed out by Boruto. However, I think the translations are a bit weak, and as said by Luana on Twitter, he could be referring to the ego of Code, which led to their awakening. The official translation could have a very different approach in explaining the ego of Shinjus. I had also predicted that how the 10 tails could become an even greater danger than all Sutsukis after gaining a free will and consciousness. And here we have these new monsters who seem to be the most dangerous villains of the story so far. It would be really funny if Daemon would be able to one-shot them, just like how we dealt with Code. Back to the chapter, a new Shinju appears and mocks Code about his lame legacy and how he always gets used like a clown by someone else. She even says it's written in Code's destiny to suffer like this. And keeping the fact aside that Code is the most disrespected character of the verse, these new characters seem to have the power to look at someone's fate, just like Momoshiki. This could even mean that they are semi-Otsutsukis, and upon eating either Boruto or Kawaki, they will transform into pure celestial beings. Then another Shinju appears with the hood who makes Boruto a bit anxious. The Toad tells him to escape right away, as there is no way out for him. The mysterious Shinju is revealed to be the 10 tails avatar of Sasuke, who then attacks Boruto with lightning style. Boruto quickly forms an Uzuhiko to evade the hit and succeeds at doing so. However, the situation gets worse as all the Shinjus head over to him at the same time. Boruto seeks help from Code, but he replies by saying they are trying to devour him, and if he gets killed, it will release a huge burden from his back. It seems like he trusted him too easily and forgot that some people can't turn a new leaf no matter what. Even though Kishimoto has confirmed with her statement that Code was born to face all these elves, what I found interesting is that he didn't switch sides upon Boruto's request just for the sake of defeating their common enemy. I get a feeling that if it was Naruto and the main character had saved someone like this, he would have definitely turned a new leaf. However, in case of Code, even though he is predestined to be a puppet who gets used by others, he didn't form any alliance with the person whom he wanted to kill from the beginning. It reminded me of a theory which said the Kama trio will form an alliance if the planet ever gets invaded by new Otsutsukis. Now that a similar situation has occurred in the story, it's pretty clear that Code is fed up of allies and won't make the same mistakes that he committed in the past. If he had actually helped Boruto in this moment, we might have got to see his redemption arc, which would have been too boring in my opinion. Coming back to the chapter, we get to see Kawaki informing everything to Shikamaru, from how Boruto was talking to someone to the possibility of a possible alliance between him and Code. Sarada interrupts and tells Kawaki to not overthink, as the motives of Boruto were pretty simple. He had returned to Konoha to deal with Code so that he could protect the village from his menace. Then Kawaki says the most narcissistic and stupid line that I have heard from him so far. He says that Boruto needs to be eliminated just because he's an Otsutsuki. Last time I discussed how Kawaki's these motives don't make any sense. Just because Momoshiki, who was the main reason behind his hatred, is nowhere to be seen. Now that he has expressed his will of killing Boruto only because he's an Otsutsuki, makes him a racist individual who's after the life of his counterpart only for the sake of his ego. When Sarada tells him that he's also an Otsutsuki, he replies by saying he's different cause his life goal is to kill them all. I can talk for hours on this irrational hatred of Kawaki towards Boruto. He doesn't hate him cause he's a threat of any kind, but due to his affiliation with the species that he hates the most. It will be interesting to see the new villains going after his life just because he's also a part of the clan whom he's trying to destroy. Meanwhile, Boruto uses the flying thunder god to reach back to Koji, where we get to see the infamous panel of Sasuke. Koji tells him that if he wants to avoid destroying this planet, then he should not go so far in the future. I think it's a reference to Uzuhiko, which might be a really crucial technique to use. The way it utilizes the rotation of the planet could even get the planet out of its axis, indirectly leading to its destruction. Koji even tells him that whatever has happened was not unexpected, and whatever measures they are gonna take won't save them from fighting. As I said in the beginning of the video, this conversation might be indicating the Jougan is about to appear very soon, and here is why. Koji tells Boruto that there was a high probability for this to happen, and what's even crazier is that he knew who these new beings are and what they are called. I think he got a sneak peek of the future where he saw the destruction and these Shinjus were responsible for it. He must have then informed it to Koji, who must have calmed him down by saying there is a high probability for such occurring, but nothing is guaranteed. Similar to how Momoshiki was certain to take over Boruto, but the will of fire in his heart spoiled the plans of the monster. This means the foreseen destiny is liable to change, only the chances are not that high. And that's what Koji was making Boruto understand. He was certain to change his fate just like last time. However, sometimes luck is not by your side, and that's why Boruto said to Sasuke that he will need to wait a bit more. Moreover, talking about the flash forward scene, I get a feeling that Kawaki might get influenced by these monsters, which is why he wants to wipe out the shinobi world. Maybe his time skip outfit is a tribute to these people, and he has joined forces with them to eradicate the Otsutsuki race. There are some more mysteries like the identity of this female Shinju. Many people say she's Moegi just because of her appearance and boot style, but I highly doubt that. Even this bald enemy whom I thought was a manifestation of the Jonin who saved Sarada could be a Ten-Tails variant of Jougan for some interesting reasons. I will uncover all these mysteries in my upcoming videos, so don't forget to subscribe to not miss them. I will see you next time.